this week doesn't end without you starting this project. Hello. So I don't even really know how much of this I'm going to leave in the video. The video is gonna be all about facing your fears, facing uncertainty, starting new things, honestly just facing yourself. I feel like that's a lot of what comes up when you are about to embark on a new journey or try something outside of your comfort zone. You're really just facing yourself at the beginning, at least, and that resistance towards stepping out of your comfort zone and trying out new things. Today's video is gonna be all about that. I'm gonna be bringing you along on, it's gonna be a blog of me doing this. Consider it a realistic take on chasing your dream life, because that's ultimately my goal. I think I know what I want to do, and that's been part of this really long journey. It has been explored and documented in my Purpose Chronicles, but honestly a big chunk of it started a year, 2 years ago. I think I know what I want to do, but the truth is I don't know how I'm gonna make that happen. I don't know if at the end of the day, you never know if what you want, actually what you want, or even what you're gonna get, you know, because you can have an idea of something in your mind and then you can get that, but it's not what you were imagining. With all of these questions in mind, regardless of that, you cannot know for sure if you don't try. So you don't move if you don't move. You don't change if you don't change. And that's a mindset that I have for 2025, to be honest. I'm gonna share with you bits and bobs for context. Hopefully, on this video, you might relate to the position that I'm in. We can hold each other accountable. We can keep each other company in this journey. I'm not gonna lie, I can feel really lonely. That's definitely one of the emotions that I have been feeling the past. I don't know. Sometimes you just need someone to tell you you're doing your best and that is enough and you're doing great, and I can be that person for you, and then we can be a person for each other, because you know we're all trying our best to create the life that we want. So without further ado, I'm just gonna give you a quick snapshot of what I'm actually referring to, what I'm trying to do and what I'm facing, so you have a clue what what all of this is about. I've been pushed into like a new scary lane, so to say, in my career, in my like 9-to-5 job, basically. When I had the idea for this video, I was facing a lot of uncertainty. I don't know if you can relate, let me know if you can, but I'm not one of those people that does really well with change. I'm very much a creature of habit. I love my comfort zone, which I know sounds so like perhaps dumb. This is all to say I'm not usually or not naturally the type of person that thrives on like spontaneity or just like not planning things, knowing what's gonna happen. And I was facing a lot of that and I had the idea to make this video, but now that uncertainty has kind of cleared up a bit, which, don't get me wrong, it has helped. And I don't give out more information on this because it has to do with my 9-to-5 job and I can give out that information. I'll give you enough that we're on the same page still. A lot of that uncertainty has cleared, but now that means that I'm being pushed into like completely new thing. It's a completely new endeavor, so to say. It comes with a lot of responsibilities, and obviously this is kind of the way that you grow in your career and at work and all of that, and I know it's something that I will be glad to have done. And even now, like, it's not like I want to, you know, like chicken out and not do it. I want to do it, but it's just scary. The thing is my 9-to-5 job is not the only thing challenging me right now. The fact of just putting out these videos and trying to become a content creator also, because for some reason I couldn't just stick to one thing at a time. I'm also trying to do a completely separate to YouTube and to my job, big project that I have been procrastinating for quite some time. That project is what I am gonna start today. So you guys are gonna start that with me. And yeah, that is a very rough explanation and context to what's going on with me. I'm facing these like new venues, new challenges and new tasks and responsibilities with my job that make me nervous. I'm not gonna lie. I know I will be able to face them and I want to face them together with you. You know, this is part of the Purpose Chronicles and it's all about creating our dream life, becoming our best selves, our truest selves. Part of it is gonna take some growth and it's gonna take some change, and I just wanted to keep this whole journey and this whole series as real as I could with you. My last episode I mentioned that I was gonna take a pause from just absorbing information and like books and seeking out advice and just actually living that advice. So with all of that said, let's go. Today I'm starting on this big project. If you've been catching up with my Purpose Chronicles, I mentioned this in my previous video. I didn't mention what the project was. I really don't like when people tease things like that, but I'm not gonna mention it quite yet. I will mention it eventually, I promise. The only reason I mention the big project right now is because it's playing a big part on this whole series, on this like creating my life, my dream life. It plays a big part on that, so I could just be like hiding it from you guys if I'm actually like trying to make this happen and not telling you. The only reason I'm not telling you what exactly the project is about is because I have read and heard so many people saying just like get started and don't tell anyone. There is science that says that your brain gets some sort of satisfaction when you tell people about things that you want to do but haven't started, and then you're less likely to actually do them. Now I'm sitting right here and I'm gonna start it right now. All this to say, I just want to get started with this and get into a habit to like keep it moving, and I will tell you when I'm in that habit. This is your sign. If you're putting something off, let's go. You're starting with me. Let's do it together, because there is no reason that I'm starting my project on this random ass Sunday in April. It's the 6th of April right now. I wrote it in my 2025 planner. I wrote earlier this week that I was gonna start the project this Sunday, and it's almost 5 p.m. I have procrastinated all day starting this. I'm gonna do it. I'm just gonna get started. We are just gonna go for it. A tip, I guess, that I could give you so far is set a deadline and stick to it no matter what. Setting a deadline definitely helped. I can't believe I actually managed to sit down and get it started, get going with it. Also suggest is to not set any expectations from yourself at all about it, other than getting yourself started. Because if you're having a hard time getting started with something, and that's sort of like the big first step, let yourself just deal with that. I'm calling it for a day. I feel like I got good progress, small progress, but good progress. And honestly, I feel like the biggest part of my progress was just facing the fear of getting started with something that in my mind looks just so big and so unknown. It feels good. I'm gonna stop because it's Sunday. I actually want to enjoy the rest of my evening. This week has been long and I did what I set out for myself to do. So next time, when the next deadline, perhaps it's next week at the same time, it will help me want to get started, because I know that I'm not being overly critical and overly harsh on myself. I don't know if this happens to all. It might just be a very particular situation for me, but I have always, since I can remember, had a very big fear of like public speaking. That sort of translates to working thing and you're like introducing yourself, but the truth is I get all shaky. The lesson in all of this is I still push through it, you know. So normal, I think, to get nervous, anxious, like I really start like sweating. I just get this like automatic bodily response that I cannot control. I've tried to do like, we might be adulting, but it's okay if in the adulting you still feel like a little kid sometimes, or you just get super scared and nervous. Do it scared, but do it. Confidence and courage comes from doing things scared. No one said you had to do them like with confidence from the get-go. I'm gonna take some deep breaths and get back to work. You know, my body feels like it was just chased by a lion, and all I did was have a call, and I had to introduce myself and my work. Monday. I think today is gonna be the last day of this video. I already know this is gonna be a bit all over the place. Please bear with me. This is honestly the reality of the topic of this video, but my day-to-day life recently. I'll wrap this up with some semblance of a structure. I'm just gonna do like a sort of productive day in my life. Today's Monday, I have to work, and on Mondays I love to organize my week. I love Mondays. I've come to really love Mondays. Think of it as a reset for your goals, your work, your projects, whatever it is that you're doing. It's kind of like setting everything on track and making sure you're gonna have time to do it all. I thought it was a good way to wrap up this video because I got some Monday scheming, Monday plotting as I like to call it, planning your entire week, which is super helpful, and I'm gonna give you some tips. I have a Pilates class later on after work. I also have some work to do, so you know, if I'm being real with you guys, my mind feels so scrambled, my body feels with zero like negative energy. I'm really working from the trenches here. I had some friends visiting this weekend, which obviously was super fun and a good thing. But you know, when you're hosting and you're like out and about with friends, you know, around, so it was non-stop fun, but non-stop. And my body's like, let's just slow down. And of course, I have a Pilates class later on. So needless to say, I'm really low on energy. So in life, when you're feeling very drained and unmotivated, that I like to do every Monday, go back to the previous Monday's dump of to-dos and everything that I had to get done the week prior to the week that I'm on, just see if I managed to do it all. I like to go back to that so that I can sort of drag those tasks across. I also like to go to my monthly goals. I set goals at the beginning of every month. I like to go back to those every Monday because that's a good reminder of everything that I wanted to accomplish in that month. And to be honest, if you do it every Monday, you only have 4, depending on the month, maybe 5. It really motivates you and gives you back that initial motivation that you had when you set out those goals at the beginning of the month, because you know your Mondays are running out and like there is only a limited amount of Mondays in that month. It's key to achieving your yearly goals to keep reminding yourself of them throughout every month, every week of the year. Not necessarily every day, but every week really does help. But everything that I need to do this week, it was actually very helpful because this week we have a bank holiday here in England on Friday and on Monday. I won't be working, which is great because I will be able to catch up on some rest. It does mean that if I want to make the most out of it, I will still need to edit some videos, shoot some content for YouTube and for Instagram, and then work on my little side project as well. In order to actually have some rest this weekend, and I have some other friends that are coming to visit, I really want to make the most out of it. So I usually would do on a Friday in terms of like planning content and planning everything that I will shoot during the weekend. I'll do on Thursday, so that on Friday I can shoot it, and then the weekend I have more for myself and I have a bit more free time. You know, it's useful to do this at the beginning of the week because that way I really get to see everything that I need to do, and you get to slot in a date for each of these things and a time roughly. I just feel so much more organized, even though I do have a bit of a headache at work. But yeah, we have our week planned and everything is set in motion. tea is served. It's been a while. I came back from my class, I had dinner, I threw out the trash, I had a full shower, I dried my hair, washed it, all of the shebang. Now I'm here. It is 8:43 p.m. and we're gonna edit a video. That's pretty much where I'm gonna end up my day. Before I do that and then end this video, I just wanted to kind of wrap up this video by saying, I know it hasn't had a lot of structure. I will try to make upcoming videos where I'm doing similar challenging sewing goals. I'm gonna try to make upcoming videos that cover all of these a bit more structure. I wanted this first video of this kind to be as it is. It's an accurate representation of how my mind, my life is actually at the moment. Times where I'm really productive, like today, even though I didn't feel like it, and I have times where I just spend the entire weekend with my friends and I actually couldn't do much for content creation or other projects. I pretty much just had a weekend like a normal person. I wanted this video to show the reality of that, of what it means when you're pursuing things outside of a traditional job, when your passions or new hobbies or whatever it is. You know, it takes discipline on one hand. You have seen it. Anything that I did today, I didn't want to do any of it. Although I am happy I went to Pilates, but I was super tired. So it takes discipline. It's probably gonna be scary, especially if you're trying new things or if you're being pushed into new spaces and honestly new versions of yourself. You'll need to shed some parts of yourself. It might be painful. It might be anxiety-inducing for a little bit, but you know, that's life. As I said earlier, nothing changes if nothing changes. You need to move and no one is going to do it for you. I think that's it. I'm gonna stop rambling. Hopefully this video inspired you even a little bit or motivated you to also go and pursue that thing that you've been putting off. Perhaps you already started and we're just, you know, keeping each other accountable. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already. If anything, we can do this together or you can watch me do whatever it is that I'm gonna end up doing. And I'll catch you in my next one.